I live in Georgetown. My father moved here in 1927. And it's November the 10th of 1927. I was born in Lanes, South Carolina, and I remember when we came here that I think I was about school age, but Howard School was our destiny. And we lived right down the street there. The ACL company had a plant. The ACL company had four street, little short streets. And they had one named number 6 yard, and the other was a number 2, I think, yard. They were all stacked up with lumber, and they had one street that we live on was Hazard Street, which is now still in force. And the house that we live in was the second house from the corner of Bond Street. And it is still there. I moved from there down on Bond Street with my brother-in-law. My father moved there in front of the International Paper Company. The International Paper Company was cooperated, and I don't know exactly the date, but I know they started operating in 1935. And then from there, I grew up in this community. I went to Howard School in this community, and we would walk down the Maryland Road to Emmanuel Street from Zion Church and go by the ACL company. They had a big motel on the corner. We would go down there, and we had to walk from there to King Street and go down to Duke Street, where the school was located at. And after that, we went there until they start dividing the school. And when they had voting time, we wasn't allowed to go by that area. After things had get so bad, my mother and I tell her that I would stop going to school. And I went to school till I was 8th grade. And after that, I started working. And I tell you, I hate to think about it. I was 3rd grade, and my daddy said, I'm not going to let you go out there and work for nothing like that. You got to go to your school. I said, well, everybody else got money, and I don't have none. So I would go by in the morning, and I'd go by and make the lady bed, and leave there, and have my little bag, and I go on to school. And I came back, and I stopped there, and I worked until it was time for me to come home. And I came home, and I'll come on home for that day. And he said, how could you study? I said, well, I'll study. But he wasn't satisfied with it. But you just couldn't have a lot of money, and if my brother was in Marion with my cousin, and he decided he came home, and when he came home, they got him a job over at the ACL. And at the time, they were building the bridge that go to Porter's Island. And they call that area the WPA. And if he worked today, tomorrow, my brother would work. And that was only $4 a week. And after that, it was no money coming in unless you provide for it other ways. My daddy would plant cotton, and I think he would plant a little bit tobacco on one of the area. But, you know, it wasn't a big thing until the international paper came in force. And when I got married, I was 20 years old. And my first child was born in 1922, I think. I don't have the right date. But the second one was when Roosevelt was elected president. And then we had to sign up for sugar, for rice, and if you had children, you had to sign up down there on Fraser Street for shoes. And when everybody most didn't have a lot of children at that time, we would go to just a guy had a child or two children. You don't have any. You would come to me and get you a pound of sugar or a cup of sugar until, you could get some money to buy you some. And then after President Roosevelt was elected, Loretta was born. And that was my second child. And then we started seeing a little light. From then on, I started working. I wanted to work, but my husband said, well, if you're going to work, I'll stay home and take care of the children. So my mother said to me, well, if he don't want you to work, I don't think you should force him to do that. I said, well, we need a place because we don't have no money, and I can help him by, working. Which is why he wasn't getting a lot, but you take a little and save it until you get enough to start. My sister lived on the other side of that church down there. And she said, Louise, I do want you to finish school. I said, well, I'll be all right. And I went to Reverend Daniel's mother, a wife, not his mother. And I think me and my cousin went there 2 years. And after she got married, then I get discouraged. And I stopped. When my brother run a restaurant over there on Wynyard Street, just beyond St. Stephen Church. And I started working with him for $4 a week. And I worked there until I got married. I had 3 brothers, and the youngest brother was in Myrtle Beach working with Miss Mice and Hammer, and the other 2 was at the ACL company, which and why that's the reason why they were down here. 'Cause some of the families, like Tony, grandparents, they were down here living, and they find a place that they needed someone. And my two brothers came down here and got a job. Then they right back home and tell my daddy if he could get the sugar cane corn out the field, and they would try to find him a job. So then that's when they find him a job at the ACL. She was my back post, 'cause when I got out and got married, she didn't have any children, but my mother she had high blood pressure, and she would keep the children with her, taking care of my mother. And at first, my brother and I sent, I don't know whether it was $4 or what, but they had to send it to Washington to sign some papers, 'cause they didn't have no birth certificate at that time. And we get her age, and the first check that she got, we had to send it back, not knowing that it was her check. But after she died, they request to send the check back, and she'd never gotten a Social Security check. No.
Yeah.
One car would come through here. We know who that car belonged to, 'cause you didn't see no more car. And Mr. Manigo, the undertaker, after he came from Columbia, his family had a funeral home in Columbia, and he was on the corner of Frazier and Front Street. And he said, his son said to us, he and his sister make a bargain that the first one would get 10 car. You would give him a prize or something like that. But anyhow, she counted and counted all day, and she never reached that 10 cars. But now, he said, you could count 1 minute and get over 100 or something. I said, yes, you are right, 'cause I was coming from Porter's Island one day, and I just, in my imagination, I said, I'm gonna see in this car, I could count. You know, the traffic wasn't so heavy. I'm going to see if I could count 100 cars before I get to the International. And before I get to the bridge, I done count over 200 cars. And that's just how the traffic been. And that was the later it get in the years. And that's how it would be. My neighbor, she used to live right over there. And after my sister died, she bought this place, and she's right where Steph is living now. And she said, "Did you make that?" I said, "Yes, I make it." She said, "That look like material come from a grab bag." I said, "Yes, it is." I said, "But, you know, every time I look, it's a girl." So I had to take what I had and make what I want. And she was a prejudiced person. So every time she see the children with a new piece of material on, she would come over there. "I see Susie had on a dress today. Did you make that?" I said, "You got it." And well, "What about that you got on?" I said, "You got it." I would go to the grab bag and you get material at a reasonable price. I could take 3 yards of material and make me a dress and then leave a little piece. I can make one of the children a skirt and take another piece and match it up and make a, you know, top part. And Monsieur had that grab bag in front of the old post office on Front Street. And that helped us out a lot. So one morning, before I go to work, I take the children to school, and I used to work for the Beale family. And I came back and I stopped by my sister's house because my daddy was there. And so I would check on them before I go to my regular job. And she said, "Oh, my girls wouldn't wear that, 'cause I got to go to Fogel department store and buy them a dress." I said, "Well," I said, "You know one thing?" I said, "We hadn't come here to discuss what we wear, but it's just who wearing them." I said, "God give me children look good enough. If I put 10 cents a dress on them, they can pass with the one who got on the $100 dress." I said, "I had 9 children, and ain't none been never hungry a day in their life. Sometimes we throw away more then we can discover. You know, you say, I ain't got nothing to cook tomorrow. And you go right in your kitchen and fix the same thing you got in there. And enjoy it, your stomach full, and you ain't got to beg nobody for nothing. But you know, when God gives you a little bit of knowledge, you can know how to manage what you got. My mother-in-law would take her husband's shirt when they work in the field and sweat. They back up like the shoulder would be raggedy like. And she would take her time, sit down, cut off the yoke of that shirt, and the front, take the button off them, and she would make, for my oldest child to the youngest one, make a little dress and pleated them in a tail, and put them in a box and send them to me. And they didn't know how I was getting those things. But see, I know that the sound say, if you trust in God, He will make a way for you. And I was comfortable. Our pastor now, his granddaddy, used to had a shoe shop, and they had a lot of children. He said, sometimes my daddy said, Lou, I was a baby. He said, Lou, said, look like you getting a hole in them shoes. So you better come around here to Baba Jew and let him patch that hole. Lord, these shoes be so heavy. But he would have sold them shoes. And when you get to church, you got to sit on the side of the step and have your old rag in your pocketbook and shine them shoes up before you go into church. 'Cause there ain't no concrete. It just been dirty, dirt. The grab bag and the, we had Rashid. That was a grocery store. And we had Thomason and another store called him Poor Man Friend. But he wasn't the name of the store, but his things were so cheap, $1.98 and all that. They give him a nickname of Poor Man Friend. And after that, they just start coming in. Oh, yes. Yes, all this area out here was changed. 'Cause most of these people out here after International come, they didn't have a place of their own one. This place I'm living at now, this whole area was a city dump. That street over there in front of me, it was 2 or 3 houses over there, and they were belongs to the International. No, not International. It was belonged to the ACL. And all that area back there was belongs to the ACL. Right behind me, across the street, there was houses. One house, and a man had, Mr. George Friendly. He had about 6 or 7, groundhogs right across there. And they were the biggest thing. And up on the other side of the church, it was one big house on that corner. And my friend, after those family died out, they moved in that house. And Mary Davis' daughter, Mary Davis, moved over here. And they were living up there by the schoolhouse on Duke Street. And I said, girl, what's happened? She said, well, my daddy, they had police in the country, but they wanted to come in the city limit. And she got that house, and she was pregnant. The Bell Hairs Company used to send some books out, and she ordered them things for the baby. I said, Mary, I said, my mama tell me when you're pregnant, you don't get things for a child before you're born. Said, it give you bad luck. She said, yes. Said, the rich people got the money and the poor one got the sign. But you know, her baby born, and he's born still dead. And that's why I have a daughter today named Loretta. She said, I'm gonna give you this box of clothes, but I do want you to name your baby after Red. So we planned to name her Loretta. And she gave me the clothes. And when my baby born, I named her Loretta. Go to church and be active in the church. Go to Sunday school. When I had to work, I would have Mary Davis and my sister to see that they be in Sunday school, because we used to have Sunday school in the morning then. But when I was coming up, we would go to service and then come back and go to Sunday school at 3 o'clock. And then we had league at 6 in the afternoon, and right back to night service at 7. And that wasn't too long, but it seemed like it was fun to us because we didn't know no better. You know, the international paper company, oh, he had a good manager, and he would give the employees tickets to take their wife and children out to the movies certain nights a week. And then after that, we just would take a Coca-Cola bottle top, play jacks, and hopscotch, and all them things. We just make our fun. And we sit down in the house, get all the children together, and they would sing their little song and do the little things. But we just make fun of what we had. When Loretta was born, when President Roosevelt, that's when it started picking up a little bit. And he just seemed like he had opened a light for you to see. Don't turn and laugh at me. Sometimes you can't be satisfied for nothing. I said, but if you all know what we came through, you would know every little thing you get. I would tell them to be more kind and more loving to everybody. 'Cause you know what? God made us all. And we supposed to love one another. I don't love my granddaughter and my daughter and don't love you. I supposed to love you as well. It's to do unto others as you have them to do unto you. And the next thing, God is our keeper and our maker. You know, I tell those children sometimes, I can't move this. I can't do this. But then the Bible said, with God's help, you can do anything. But sometimes we depending on man. And if you just take a little time and go to God and ask Him for His strength and His mercy, He will help you. Might don't be like you want it, but He'll come in His own way. And I have proved that out just a few days ago. And don't go to bed when someone in your heart said you mad with him or angry with somebody, turn it over to God and He will bring you through. You might don't come when you want it, but He'll come in time. He knows just how much you can bear.